The longest war in U.S. history is officially over, with the U.S. completing its military withdrawal from Afghanistan. This new video from Kabul International Airport showing relative quiet on the runway, in contrast to the many planes that have been arriving and departing in the final days before today's August 31st deadline. This morning, we know up to 200 Americans are still there in the country. Doug Johnson, a retired colonel for the U.S. Army Reserve and current chief of police for IU on the IUPUI campus, joining me now to discuss the very latest. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, quite the undertaking. The reports are varying, but at roughly 120,000 people in just a few weeks evacuated. So what happens in Afghanistan now? Let's start with those people who are still there in terms of Americans and American allies.
So what happens to them is largely up to the Taliban. And I think we are hearing encouraging reports from their soon-to-be government that they plan to assist foreign nationals out of their country safely. And this is important because the Taliban would like to be recognized in the global community as a legitimate government. And so the leverage that the world community, including the United States, has at this point in time is that part of being welcomed into the world community is the fact that you provide for the safety of foreign guests and also your own people.
Yeah, and for those who do not know, the Taliban and ISIS form different countries, different times. They're sworn enemies, with ISIS basically thinking the Taliban is not strict enough. Do you think there's going to be a civil war between the two, or do you think a government can be established basically from the Taliban?
I think what we have to remember is the history that we walked into in 2001. The Taliban seized power, relatively speaking, in 1996. And was in a state of civil war prior to that, and really continuing up through our intervention in that country. So what I think you will see is probably a return to some form of civil war, maybe kept regionally within the country. The Taliban control more terrain and more cities now than they did in 2001. But there are holdouts in the Panjshir region. There are several thousand localized fighters who are organizing a resistance, and they've partnered with some of the holdouts of the Afghan military. So I think you'll see that. I think you'll see ISIS-K or Daesh will certainly attempt to destabilize the Afghan governmental efforts, and there will be continued fighting there.
What happened to the military equipment that is still there? I know some people use the term left behind. That's not entirely accurate.
Yeah, there's two aspects to this question, one of which is the equipment that the Afghan military either surrendered or walked away from, and then the other issue is military equipment that the United States had to leave behind because we didn't have the capacity to get it out or the time to get it out. The equipment that was left behind has been what you'll hear the term demilitarized used in news reporting. Essentially, they've destroyed the components of those vehicles and those aircraft and those weapon systems that would make them usable. So those will never function again as trucks. They'll never function again as helicopters. And so that question has been resolved. The equipment that was seized by the Taliban from the Afghan National Army, much of that equipment is highly technical, and we're talking about aircraft, rotary wing and fixed wing aircraft, night vision goggles, Humvees, and equipment of the like. And the the Taliban are not well suited to maintain or operate those pieces of equipment.
All right,
so while it looks good in a photo op that they have it, the likelihood they're going to be able to use it's very, very slight.
All right, sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to get one last question in. After having served there, what are your feelings having watched all this take place?
Yeah, great question, Scott, and I appreciate you asking that. I have incredibly mixed feelings. I'm surprised at the speed at which the Afghan government gave their country up. I'm disgusted, and that's directed at the Taliban, based on the Taliban that I know, that I interacted with. Candidly, I'm a bit relieved that we're actually finally bringing our people home and we can put this one to rest. So I'm giving myself the space to feel through it, and then I'll have some time to process all these feelings in the near future and put myself in a healthy place.
Doug Johnson, retired colonel for the U.S. Army Reserve. Doug, thanks for being here. We do appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thank you.